I remember the moment my life split in two. Before and after. Quiet and loud. Invisible and finally seen. It happened on a Sunday afternoon that should have been simple. My parents called it a family dinner. I called it a warning sign. Every family dinner in my life carried tension like a tight wire. I always knew something would be asked of me or taken from me. I just never knew how far they would go until that day. I sat at the table across from my parents while my younger sister, Brianna, talked about her wedding plans. She described flowers, dresses, and a location that sounded too expensive for any normal couple. I tried to smile. I tried to be supportive. This was the role they gave me. The quiet one. The steady one. The one who did not need anything. The one who clapped for others, even when no one clapped for her. Then my father cleared his throat. He always did that when he wanted attention. The sound echoed in the small dining room. I felt something cold move through my chest. My mother folded her hands with a kind of gentle smile she used only for Brianna. I braced myself. He said they had made a financial decision. He said it casually, like it was harmless. He said they had given the wedding fund they promised me to Brianna. He said she deserved the wedding she dreamed of. He said Marcus and I would be fine without it. He did not apologize. He did not ask. He delivered the news like a man sharing a weather update. My heart dropped. My ears rang. My mouth went dry. I felt small and stupid for believing this time would be different. I looked at my parents. They avoided my eyes. I looked at Brianna. She shrugged. She said it made sense because I was older and should have saved by now. She said Marcus did not seem like someone who could afford anything big anyway. Marcus sat beside me in silence. He reached under the table and held my hand. His grip was steady. His warmth grounded me. He did not speak yet, but I felt the storm inside him. This was the moment I knew everything was about to shift. That moment pushed me into memories I worked hard to bury. Moments from childhood. Moments when I learned my place in the family silently and painfully. I grew up watching my sister get everything first. The better clothes, the special meals, the attention, the praise. My parents said she needed more because she was younger. They said I was mature and could manage on my own. They used that to justify forgetting birthdays, missing school events, and brushing off anything I accomplished. I learned to shrink myself to keep peace. I learned to stay out of the way. I learned that love in my family was given to the loudest one, not the loyal one. Brianna cried and she was comforted. I cried and I was told to adjust. Brianna broke rules and she was excused. I followed every rule and was ignored. When I met Marcus at 25, he saw what my family never noticed. He saw a woman who worked hard, a woman who stayed calm under stress, a woman who cared too much and received too little. He valued me. He loved me without conditions. He treated me like someone who mattered. My parents viewed him as average because he did not show off. They assumed he was underpaid. They assumed he could not provide anything meaningful. They did not know Marcus hid his wealth because he believed real character showed in silence, not display. They only respected money when they could see it. They did not understand the kind of strength Marcus carried. Quiet strength, real strength, protecting strength. So when my father announced he had given my wedding fund to Brianna, Marcus watched carefully. He watched the years of hurt rise inside me. He saw me break in slow motion. He turned to my parents with a calm face I recognized as dangerous. But before he spoke, I drifted back into the past again. I remembered the day I graduated college. My parents left early because Brianna had a hair appointment. I stood on that stage alone. I remembered the day I told them about my first promotion. They changed the subject to Brianna's new hobby. My life was always background noise to hers. I remembered the first time I tried to talk to my mother about how it felt. I told her I felt left out. She told me to stop being dramatic. She told me to be grateful I was the strong one. She said I had no reason to feel hurt. The memories stacked up like quiet stones in my mind. But in that moment, at the dinner table, the weight of all of them pressed on me at once. I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. My father continued eating like he had done me a favor. My mother poured more water. Brianna checked her phone and showed my mother a photo of a wedding dress. Then Marcus spoke. His voice cut through the room like a clean blade. He asked my father if he understood what he had taken. He asked my mother if she realized she had hurt her own daughter. His voice stayed calm, controlled, heavy with meaning. My parents looked annoyed. My father said it was not a big deal. He said we would figure something out. He said Marcus should relax. Marcus told them I would not be treated like this anymore. He told them that taking someone's promised money is not a small thing. He told them silence does not mean acceptance. This was only the beginning. None of us knew that the letter I wrote later would be the final blow, the one that made my sister scream, the one that made my parents face the truth they avoided for years, the one that ended the cycle. But that comes later. What happened next at that dinner table changed everything. Marcus leaned forward after my father brushed him off. His eyes stayed calm, but his jaw tightened. I had seen that look before. It meant he had already made a decision. My parents had no idea what kind of man they were provoking. They thought he was quiet because he was weak. They thought his silence came from lack of confidence. They did not understand that Marcus stayed silent because he chose to. They did not know that he only spoke with force when something truly mattered. He asked my parents a simple question. He asked if they ever considered how their choice would affect me. My mother waved her hand. She said I would understand. She said I always understood. She said Brianna needed the money more because her wedding was bigger. She said a bigger wedding creates more pressure, so it made sense. Hearing her speak so casually about taking something from me sent a dull ache through my chest. She used the same tone she used when she talked about grocery lists or weather changes. Emotionless, thoughtless, detached. Brianna looked annoyed that the conversation was even happening. She told Marcus that he was blowing things out of proportion. She said I never complained before. She said this was unnecessary drama. She said if we were struggling financially, she could try to pay back a little someday. Her voice made it clear she did not mean it. Marcus turned to me. His eyes softened. He asked me if I wanted to leave. I shook my head. I needed to stay. I needed to hear everything they believed. I needed to hear their excuses because it was the only way to finally break free. I looked at my parents. I asked why they thought I did not deserve the money. My father shrugged. He said Brianna wanted her dream wedding in Italy, and the cost was high. He said she had always wanted something grand. He said I was the practical one. He said I never needed big celebrations. He said I always managed. I sat there with my hands in my lap. I felt anger move through me in waves. I was tired of being the one expected to understand. I was tired of being the one expected to adjust. I was tired of being the one they depended on while giving nothing back. Marcus spoke again. He told them that what they did was financial betrayal. He told them it was emotional betrayal. He told them it was a clear message that I did not matter. He told them they had shown their priorities in the cruelest way. My father raised his voice. He said Marcus had no right to talk to him like that. He said this was a family matter. He said Marcus was not even married to me yet. Marcus smiled in a way that made my father pause. He said he was speaking because he loved me. He said he would always speak when someone hurt me. He said he did not need a title to protect the woman he planned to spend his life with. Then something unexpected happened. My mother laughed. The sound was sharp. She said Marcus should not act like some hero. She said if he was so protective, he should have saved more money for a wedding. She said my expectations needed to match the reality of who I chose to marry. I felt heat rise in my face. My stomach twisted. Marcus squeezed my hand again, but this time his expression changed. He no longer looked calm. He looked focused, determined, ready. He told my parents one truth they never expected. He told them they had judged him from the moment they saw him. They saw simple clothes and a quiet personality and assumed he was average. They assumed he had nothing to offer. Then he said the words that changed the tone of the entire room. He told them he was a partner at a private investment firm. He said he came from generational wealth but kept it private. He said he believed in knowing a person's character before showing anything else. My mother's smile froze. My father blinked. Brianna's jaw dropped. Marcus continued. He said he had already planned a beautiful wedding for us. He said he had saved money because he wanted to build a stable life with me. He said the wedding fund my parents stole was not about money. It was about respect. It was about acknowledgement. It was about basic decency. My father tried to recover. He said they thought Marcus was not serious. Marcus looked at him and asked why their respect depended on his wealth. My father had no answer. Marcus then told them something that shocked everyone at the table. He said if my parents did not return the money they promised me, he would involve legal counsel. He said the transfer of funds under false pretenses could be challenged. His tone was calm, steady, firm. He did not raise his voice. He did not threaten in anger. He stated it like a fact. My mother's face turned pale. Brianna's eyes narrowed. She asked why we were acting like this was life-changing. She said it was just money. She said the experience of her wedding mattered more. She said I should support her happiness. Those words settled in my chest like cold metal. She expected my sacrifice for her happiness. She always did. Marcus looked at me and asked if I wanted to speak. I felt something inside me shift. Years of silence broke open. I told my parents I was tired. I was tired of being the one who adjusted. I was tired of being the one who swallowed the pain. I was tired of being invisible. I told them their choice showed what I always feared. I was never a priority. My father said I was being dramatic. My mother said I was making things complicated. Brianna rolled her eyes. Marcus stood up. He placed both hands on the table. He told them to return my money by the end of the week. He told them we would not speak again until they did. Then he helped me stand. As we walked out, I heard Brianna whisper something to my mother. She said I was jealous. She said I always played the victim. She said I should be grateful she let me know about the money at all. Marcus held me close when we reached the driveway. He told me I did nothing wrong. He told me I deserved respect. He told me he would stand by me no matter what came next. That night, I sat in our apartment and wrote a letter. A simple letter. A clear letter. A letter filled with truth they ignored for years. A letter that would make Brianna scream when she finally read it. It was time to end the cycle. It was time to stop being the quiet one. It was time to show them who I had become. I sat at my desk with a blank page in front of me. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the lamp. Marcus slept on the couch because he refused to leave me alone that night. He wanted me to feel safe while I wrote something that had been building inside me for years. I stared at the paper for a long time. I felt the weight of every memory, every moment of being overlooked, every time my voice felt too small to matter. I was done carrying it in silence. I started writing slowly. I wrote about how their choices shaped me. I wrote about how it felt to watch Brianna be celebrated for everything while I worked twice as hard for half the acknowledgement. I wrote about the birthdays they forgot and the events they missed. I wrote about the nights I cried alone because I felt like a stranger in my own family. I wrote about the quiet pain of being treated like an afterthought. My words are calm, direct, honest. I did not insult them. I did not blame them for everything. I told the truth they never cared to hear. I told them I was done begging for love. I told them I was done trying to earn a place in a family that never valued me. I told them the wedding fund was not the real issue. It was the final confirmation of what I had always known. I wrote that the money meant nothing now. They could keep it if they needed it so badly. I wrote that I was choosing peace. I was choosing myself. I was choosing a life where I was not invisible. At the end of the letter, I added one line that I knew would strike deep. I wrote that I had already found the family I needed. I wrote that Marcus and I were getting married, quietly. I wrote that we did not want them there. I placed the letter in an envelope and left it at my parents' doorstep the next morning. 2 days passed. No calls. No messages. Silence. Then Brianna called. Her voice shook with anger. She asked if this was a joke. She asked if I was seriously cutting them off. She asked if I thought I was better than them now. I told her the truth. I told her I was tired of being her shadow. I told her I was done playing the role they assigned me. She screamed. She said I was ruining everything. She said I owed her support. She said family was supposed to be loyal. I told her loyalty is earned. The call ended with her yelling that I would regret this. I felt nothing but relief. My parents did not reach out. Not that day. Not the next. A week later, a small envelope arrived in the mail. It contained a check, the full amount of the wedding fund. No note, no apology, no explanation, just money. Cold and simple. They returned it because Marcus forced their hand. Not because they understood. Not because they cared. Marcus and I got married in a small ceremony by the lake. Only his parents and 2 close friends attended. I wore a simple dress. The wind was soft. The water was still. I felt calm for the first time in years. Marcus looked at me with the kind of love that made every painful memory fade into the background. He saw me, not a version of me, not a role, me, totally and clearly. I took the check my parents sent and opened a scholarship fund for girls who grew up like I did. Girls who felt unheard. Girls who needed someone to believe in them. I named it Quiet Strength. It felt right. Marcus and I built a home filled with peace. No shouting. No comparison. No cold silence. Just honesty and care. Sometimes I thought about my family. Not with anger. Not with longing. Just acceptance. They made their choices. I made mine. The letter I wrote became the final line between my old life and the new one. Brianna screamed because she lost control of the story. My parents stayed quiet because they could not face their reflection. I walked away because I finally understood my worth. I did not choose revenge. I chose freedom. I chose a life where my voice is heard. I chose a future where I am not invisible. I chose myself.